A system critical in saving lives and protecting the public during a natural disaster. But as a WPTV investigation finds, it's a system that may have a critical flaw that caused thousands to not get the alert October 9th. And tonight, we're getting answers.
WPTV's investigative reporter Kate Hussey spent months pouring through weather reports and emergency alert records and found what may just be a glaring vulnerability in a nationwide network. She's joining us live tonight from Wellington. Kate?
Yeah, Megan, Matt, good evening. As many of you know, this is the area that was hit by an EF3 tornado just months ago. And ever since, we've been hearing from dozens of people specifically in this area who say they never got the emergency alert on their phone. So we started digging through public records to find out why. And sure enough, we found a problem.
There's power lines down on Flying Cow. You cannot go from here.
Chaos.
I'm going to go to that call. There's people trapped inside a house.
Across Palm Beach County.
Is anybody hurt?
Houses leveled.
The child went to the hospital.
Mira, hay un muchacho allá. Está muy herido.
Cars and trees.
We just want to make sure everyone got out.
This almost apocalyptic picture.
Screaming down there. We got gas like that smell come from there.
The aftermath of an EF3 tornado. And Amanda Norton, as she sat in her Wellington home, had no idea it was turning right toward her. You never got a warning.
We did not, and I received them in the past.
Amanda, her husband, and their 2 young children were about 4 miles from the tornado's core.
We're getting all these alerts, one after another, getting bombarded with alerts.
But while some got a warning to take cover, Amanda says neither she nor her husband ever did, and say both had their emergency alerts turned on October 9th.
We have 2 different providers too, so I wasn't sure, where the issue was. So it's really frightening, especially because we had young kids at the house. We had no preparation for it.
She's not alone. This next door thread shared with me by Wellington residents showed dozens of other homeowners in the area reporting they also never got an alert. I went to warn.pbs.org, a government-funded website that tracks when a tornado warning is issued and the exact time a weather emergency alert, or WEA, is then sent to cell phone towers, which, if you have emergency alerts turned on, then pings your phone. I wanted to see how much time elapsed between the tornado warning and the alert that was sent. I found in every case the weather emergency alert was sent within seconds of the National Weather Service's warning.
Now the question is, why didn't they get to people's handsets? Why it didn't get to their cell phones?
Craig Fugate is the former director of FEMA under the Obama administration. I set out to answer his question. I read through dozens of pages of National Weather Service reports on each of the 46 tornadoes that spawned across the state. PBS records show the tornado warning for Wellington was issued at 4:28 p.m., which then triggered an emergency alert less than 16 seconds later. National Weather Service surveys show the tornado didn't touch down until 4:43 p.m., 15 minutes after the alert was sent to cell phone towers. But still dozens say they never got the alert. Why?
Every one of these red polygons is a current tornado warning out there, and we obviously have numerous ones.
This is video from our newscast around 2 p.m. October 9th. You can see the National Weather Service did issue multiple tornado warnings around the same time. PBS alert records show some were issued minutes apart, and at 4:28 p.m., a tornado warning was issued for Orange County near Orlando. The exact same time a tornado warning was issued for the Wellington tornado. Cell phone towers were pinged just seconds apart, and that Wellington warning is the one dozens say they never got. Could those alerts being issued at the exact same time be the reason why?
Again, I think IPAWS is going back and looking at this. There were a lot of issues. There were similar issues in the California wildfires.
IPAWS is FEMA's integrated public alert warning system. It takes the warnings issued by the National Weather Service and other agencies, then sends them to cell phone towers.
How do they make sure that sequential messages follow each other and don't cancel each other out?
I expect from federal agency not to use old technology, but to use the latest technologies.
Dr. Tal Levion, a 40-year veteran in telecommunications, agrees multiple alerts being issued simultaneously could have compromised the delivery of weather emergency alerts.
In a case of emergency, you expect the thing will not work. And I expect, in case of emergency, to have countermeasure of reliability.
I reached out to FEMA to address what we found. A representative told me they are aware of alerts not being delivered in certain circumstances, but told me their integrated public alert warning system, or IPAWS, is, quote, designed to process all alerts simultaneously. So what else could have gone wrong?
Cell towers are broadcasting the signal based upon the polygon that the National Weather Service, or maybe it's a hazardous material. And then the towers will only send a signal to the cell phones that are in their area.
I started mapping out the homes of those who never received an emergency alert, and sure enough, found all of them, including Amanda Norton's, were not inside the lines of the tornado warning polygon the National Weather Service issued, even though it came, in some cases, within a mile of their backyards.
That was just pure luck, I think, at the time, because a lot of people could have been very hurt by it, especially if you look at the destruction.
And while she made it through unscathed, that wasn't the case for dozens of Wellington homeowners on Meadowood Drive and Edgefield Road. They fell outside of the National Weather Service's polygon and thus, according to Fugate, wouldn't have gotten an alert. And yet they were directly hit by the EF3 tornado.
There's no one else? Everyone in this house is all right?
Yeah, we checked with them. This is the place I've got solid against the house, and they're inside. They're okay.
There's a car?
And here, fix it right up and toss it against the house.
Our fear is that the areas of Meadowood and Edgefield didn't get the alert because they were outside of the polygon. Is that possible?
There are multiple reasons why people may not get a WEA alert. Essentially, the way the system is supposed to work is that people inside that tornado warning polygon or box will get alerted.
Robert Moyeda is the meteorologist in charge at the National Weather Service Miami. He tells me his office did issue additional alerts as the tornado moved north, but says it's possible those alerts were delayed or didn't come for those near the border of the polygon of warning.
We wonder if we have an event like this again, would it be beneficial to have larger polygons?
The tornado warnings are intended to highlight the areas that are at imminent risk from a tornado. We don't want to overwarn.
Fugate agrees and says that's the reason the agency switched to smaller polygon warnings years ago.
The public saying we don't want to get warnings that don't apply to us.
Now the former FEMA director wonders if we need to rethink that.
If we're having multiple warnings adjacent to each other and there's not a lot of physical separation, is that still a good way to do it? Maybe there needs to be more research done.
Amanda just hopes they do.
You never know what's going to happen with a tornado. They happen so fast that we really have to rely on urgent warnings that are timely.
Well, FEMA tells me they are constantly working on improving their weather emergency alert system. I also did reach out to the FCC. A spokesperson told me they are not aware of emergency alerts that are issued simultaneously, canceling each other out, but are looking into this. And Stuart, I didn't forget about you. We know that many of you said you did get the alert, but that you got it too late. So we'll explain why that happened coming up in our investigation tonight at 11. And for all of you impacted by this, Florida does believe they may have a solution on the table. They're hoping to launch it across the state. It actually uses AI, artificial intelligence, to streamline emergency alerts, and we'll explain that in tomorrow's investigation.
Very interesting. I still even remember, Kate, from the storms, Steve Wheel even making a mention with all of the alerts that were going on. He was also surprised that there weren't just fewer, more broad alerts being made. This is a great reason why.
And it highlights how much we're relying on our phones now for everything, even life-saving warnings like this.
It'll be interesting to see how AI will soon get involved. Kate, thanks so much.
All right.